Hi everyone, welcome back to the garden, and what is a bit of an old school video for me, talking about new plants and with a sausage chop in my hand. And this, as regular viewers will know, is Max, who hasn't featured in a video for quite a while. Usually these days he enjoys chilling out on the windowsill, basking in the sun. But today, on a gloomy February day, there's definitely no sun. He's come outside for a bit of an explore, so we'll put him down and let him go in his way. Now, I mentioned today's video is about some new plants. The plants that you might have heard of, but might not associate immediately with a tropical style garden. This year, I won't be getting many big plants to the garden because of, well, budget reasons mainly, and also because I don't really need any huge specimen plants. But these plants are a perfect addition, a companion to those big specimens to really create a lush, jungle, exotic or tropical vibe. So let's get started. One of the plants coming up then is something I've been after for quite a while now, which is how its purchase was justified, obviously. But the first one is a plant I've already got in the garden, but couldn't resist the chance to add another one, and it's this one here. Might feel like a budget version of the shopping channel, but we'll go for it anyway. This is Fatsia japonica spider's web, and it's not a new plant to me, and I'm sure it's not a new plant to you. I've done quite a few videos talking about Fatsia japonica and the spider's web variant, which has this beautiful white variegation on the leaves. Now, some people like variegation, others don't, but I think spider's web is a sort of classier version. It's got a beautiful large leaf, which I think looks great with so many other exotic plants, both evergreens and the summer plants when they come out and really do their thing. So this is a plant that's perfect for brightening up a dark corner of your garden. And this one, as you can see, is quite a big plant. They do grow relatively quickly, which is why I'd be reluctant to spend £60, which is the price that this was actually marked up at. So to me, that's quite a bit unless you really want that instant impact. But this was actually on a sale bench. This time of year is a great time to go out to your local garden centre and nursery and see what they're selling off. Now, I'm not saying that every single plant on a sale or reduced bench is necessarily going to bounce back and has a great chance at long-term survival, but this Fatsia japonica looks great to me. It's about 5 foot tall, and if I tell you that it was closer to £20, suddenly it becomes more of a bargain. And to be honest with you, I can always fit in plants like this. Really bold exotic plants, beautiful evergreen structure, and leaves that just fit in so well with the other exotics here. So let me show you why I think this plant was reduced and how I can get it looking good again. Now, I'll be honest with you, I was going to take the camera off a tripod and actually show you around the plant, but there's actually no need to. There's only two reasons why this plant was reduced, and I'll show you them now. The first one is this. As you can see, it's flowered. These plants do flower during winter, and as a result, because that was the main growing point, it's branched off, and it's now got several smaller shoots appearing. That's not a defect. The plant's not dying or anything like that. It's just simply going from a single stem and splitting up into a multi-stem, which for me is fantastic. It means more beautiful leaves in your garden. But I can see why, looking at the top of it, if you're not really into your plants, it might look a little bit messed up. And the second reason, I think simply, is that it's got some browning on the older leaves. And it really is just a case of trimming those off and the plant will be as good as new. I like Fatsia because they have beautiful foliage, but also because of the form of them. These are plants you can grow close to the back of a border, and over time they'll wind their way up, leaving bare stems and a beautiful canopy of these glossy leaves. So to me, the fact it's losing a few leaves further down, it's not a problem at all. It's slightly just down to age, the fact that it's been in a pot in a while, and this plant will absolutely love a place in the ground here. But let's have a look at my second plant, which is also another beautiful evergreen, and one that I've been chasing down for a while now. As for the plant I've been after for quite some time then, well, you might remember my video looking around Simon Mabury's amazing Leeds jungle garden, an inspirational garden full of so many beautiful plants, but the one that stood out to me was one evergreen in particular, and it's now in my garden as well. This is Mahonia Sweet Winter, and it really is a beautiful plant. Whilst not immediately screaming tropical at you, this is the kind of lush evergreen foliage that to me really pairs well with so many other exotic plants. It doesn't grow too tall, it thrives in a shadier spot. This is a plant that looks just as good in December as it does in the middle of summer. And in fact, probably better in December really, because these plants flower during winter and then produce lovely berries in the months following it. This Mahonia then is very similar to the soft caress that I already grow in the garden, which has quite a feathered look to it. This one's maybe a little bit sharper. It's definitely more of a we'll say a prickly tickle than a soft caress, but it's definitely nowhere near as spiky as the wiry Mahonia that you might be more familiar with. So this plant here, I actually got it from Craig over at Grow Paradise. He saw them, he posted on Facebook, bang, I got my order in straight away, and I've got a couple of these. And here I'll be using them closer to the house so I can really enjoy a beautiful evergreen scene out the windows, and one might find its way into this jungle part of the garden here. So really, I think as you get into your tropical jungle or exotic gardening a bit more, you start to move beyond the big specimen plants, the obvious palms, bananas, tree ferns, and you start to think, how can I really bring this whole garden together? What plants can I use to really tie it together to make it feel and look like a properly designed garden? And to me, plants like this Mahonia and other low-level evergreens really are a key to making that happen. Beautiful foliage, a lovely glossy look to the leaves. To me, by itself, it's not going to scream tropical, but you put this with some palms, the tree ferns, and it just pairs so well. One top tip for creating a jungle garden is really to mix together so many different varieties of green foliage, and it absolutely screams jungle. Whilst the Mahonia and Fatsia do flower, they're definitely not going to compete with the spectacle of a huge canna or a magnificent Hedychium ginger. But let's face it, you can't see those plants for pretty much most of the year, and when they flower it can be quite short-lived. So really, the impact of a Fatsia and Mahonia through the seasons, you can combine them with more summer plants, but I think they really bring something to your garden every single day of the year. So they're definitely high priority if you've got a smaller garden, for views that you see out your window, or for just brightening up those shady areas where a lot of the summer plants might not really grow well. But there is another plant I've added to my garden recently, or I bought, and it again is an evergreen plant, but one that definitely has a certain amount of seasonal interest. And that plant is this one here. This is a Sarcococca, or sweet box. This one specifically is Purple Gem. And I didn't buy it because it's a colossal evergreen with huge leaves. I didn't buy it because it's got magnificent exotic appeal. This one isn't remotely tropical. I bought this because A, it is an evergreen, but B, because of the scent. The flowers aren't especially showy, but the scent coming off them, to use a word, is truly sensational. And that, I've got to say, is probably the best joke you'll hear on my channel all year long, so feel free to savour it. This plant, when you walk past it at the garden centre, who absolutely know what they're doing, smells incredible. It's just amazing really how even on a dreary day like today, the scent of something like this travels and fills up such a large part of the garden. So although it doesn't look overtly tropical, it's one that I had to add. I often talk about creating evergreen structure for year-round interest, and that's fantastic, but if you go too far that way, you can end up with a garden that's relatively static. And likewise, tropical gardening gives us opportunities for summer growth like no other style. Massive plants, huge leaves, fast growth, amazing flowers, you can have it all. But if you go fully down that route, you can end up with a garden which doesn't have a lot to look at in late autumn through to probably late spring, even early summer. So it really is a balancing act. And to me, something I really want to focus on going forwards is filling the gaps in. And to me, late winter through to late spring can be a bit of a gap. Sure, I've got loads of bulbs in the garden, there's snowdrops, there's irises, there's other lilies and things to look forward to as the days get warmer. But to me, it's plants like this which visually do fit in with the garden. Let's face it, anything with glossy leaves can fit in with a jungle style, but really give that little bit of extra. And something like this really makes it worthwhile being out in the garden on a day like today when, let's face it, it's not warm, it's barely sunny, but having something like this just makes it feel that little bit more pleasant out here, something you look forward to every year. And it's not just me that look forward to it, it'll be the bees as well. And really creating a wildlife-rich garden is something that should be the goal of everyone, really. You might have to create a tropical aesthetic, but there's no reason why it can't be beneficial for our insects and wildlife too. But anyway, that's my ways of justifying 3 new plants I've got in my garden. So leave me your comments below. What plants have you already bought this year, and which plants are you planning to add to your garden? Are there any that you'd like me to put some videos together about, give you some advice on? Feel free to leave me a comment, everything is appreciated, and I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, see you later.